Hey everybody, I know it's been a while since I made a video, or actually spoke to you guys. So much has happened since then, and my mind has been all over the place as far as between the COVID-19 and then the Black Lives Matter and now all of the political crap that's popping up all over the place. You know how if you've listened to my videos before, or if you're just listening for the first time, welcome to my channel. I do share my opinions and my thoughts on a lot of different issues, but I feel like all of these separate issues are actually just one issue. I think that it's all being done by one group of people, and I believe that, you know, the COVID-19 was pre-selected. People were selected to get this virus. I don't think it was airborne. I don't think it was transferable as they were making it. I believe they gave it to, or spread it to, certain areas, either for experimental purposes, or for brainwashing purposes. And when I say brainwashing purposes, I mean by controlling the human population. I feel like it was an experiment to see how we would do if we were under lockdown 24/7. Not being able to go out when we want to go out, or shop when we want to shop, or get our hair done when we want to get our hair done, or just our normal freedoms were taken away. So I feel like it was more about that, to see how we did under that control, more than it was about the virus. Because at the end of the day, COVID-19 disappeared as soon as George Floyd supposedly was killed by a cop. And we had constant riots, and we had people killing each other, and we had them ruining cities and ruining things that were landmarks and things that meant something to some people, which it should have meant something to everybody. Destroying the country and destroying things that people built really wasn't the answer, and it's not the answer. I feel like being cooped up and then having just all of a sudden having that incident happen was like letting animals out of the cages of zoos. When you go to a zoo, you see animals pacing back and forth. That's because they're mentally broken from being in such tight quarters, from not being free. They're mentally suffering. And when you let them out, of course they're going to be violent, and of course they're going to lash out, because how long have they been locked up for? So, like, there's a pattern here. Do you understand? We got this COVID-19 lockdown. Then we have this police brutality. Then we have this rioting. And now we have groups of people taking over cities. Just bringing this country back to like the 1950s, trying to segregate people and trying to make us feel like we are different, that we are not the same, we don't have the same blood in our veins, and we need to be separated. And we've come a long way as a country since then, and so many people have died for that to happen, and we're going right back into what the agenda is in the end, meaning the New World Order, and where the higher ups, okay, where the real money and the real power is in the world, that's who's controlling all of this. If you haven't watched my videos on the New World Order and the five families, you're more than welcome to. I'll link them below just in case anybody's interested in listening to that. But this is all an agenda. This is an agenda, a very old concept. This has been tried several times and done several times over the course of centuries. This is not a new concept. This is not a new way of thinking. This is a very ancient and old concept. And these people have kept this concept and have kept these beliefs and rituals alive, and still do these things, and control the world, and everything in it. That's why we have celebrities saying, "I'm sorry, I take responsibility for this, and I'm sorry that there's segregation, and I'm sorry that black lives are being lost." And excuse me, really? You think that a celebrity is gonna sit in front of a camera and actually say that willingly? No. How they're raising money to get the people who looted and rioted out of jail, but aren't giving money to the businesses, the black-owned businesses that were destroyed, the people's lives that were destroyed during these riots. Nobody's raising any money to help them out. Why do we need the rioters out of jail? The money should be going to rebuild what was damaged. People's lives, people's livelihoods, people's every cent they ever saved down the tubes, because people want to point fingers at the wrong people. There's rotten apples in every batch, in every nationality, in every color. It's not a white thing, and it's not a black thing, and it's not a brown thing, and it's not a purple thing. There's bad in everything. There's bad everywhere and in everything. You cannot pick and choose when it's more important. When black people kill other black people, it's not spread across media because it happens so often that they would have to report every 5 seconds. And you don't get any media attention when white people kill each other. You don't get any attention when a black person kills a white person. We only get media coverage when it's white on black crime. And it doesn't matter what happened to cause that, if anything. It only matters that it happened. We never go back to find out what happened to cause these things to happen, if anything. We just take it at face value and go, okay, black cops are targeting, certain nationalities, and these people are not doing anything at all to, encourage this kind of brutality. We don't go back and try to find out why that happened. We just take it at face value because the media is what brainwashes the human race. So most people watch the news and they believe everything that's on it and they go, oh my God, this white person killed this black person and, that's it. Okay, well, let's go back and find out why this was all going on to begin with. Is it even true? Is this man even really dead? There's been speculation on these cops being actors, crisis actors, and popping up in several different big events in this country. Saying that George Floyd's not even really dead. I mean, there's so much information going around that it's crazy. I mean, I can't even believe half the stuff that's being put out there. But if we're going to have an opinion and we're going to feel a certain way, we need to be open to all of that information, okay? Not just one part of it. We need to look at all the information that is being put forth. Not the news information, but the information from the little people, okay? The YouTubers who take the chance and speak on these events and speak their mind and show you things that could actually put their lives in danger. We touch on subjects that other people don't want to touch on because it is a dangerous subject. When we put the microscope on the real leaders of this world, okay, we're putting ourselves in danger because we're giving you information and we're giving you food for thought that they don't want you to have, okay? And it doesn't matter what color you are, they will oppress you and you will not know and not have this information if it wasn't for some of us taking the chance and saying, I don't give a shit. I'm going to share this with whomever I can get it out to. And thank God there are people out there that care enough to share the information. Because it's not easy to go on YouTube, and it's not easy to post things on Facebook that are against the norm, okay? That are not with the program, okay? Not with the agenda of these people. So it is a dangerous thing to do, but somebody's got to do it, okay? There's got to be a group of people who say, screw this, everybody needs to know this, okay? Whether you want to hear it or not, whether you believe it or not, the information is there for you if you want it, okay? And I feel like if people would just stop for 1 minute, okay, and look at all the information, like I said, not just mainstream media, not just the news, but all of the information that we have available to us in this day and age, okay? We have all this information at our fingertips. We can read it and see it no matter where we are. We have so much available, and it just seems like because of the mainstream media, because of the brainwashing, because of all of that that's been going on for centuries, people just don't ask questions. People just take shit on face value and go, okay, not why, not how, no questions, just taking these things like, okay, well, that's what happened, and, moving on. No. You have to ask questions, okay? They don't want you to ask questions. They don't want you to know nothing. They don't want you to have a mind of your own, okay? 90% of people, okay, right now, I refer to as sheep being led to slaughter, okay? Slowly being led to the edge of a cliff, okay? And when they fall off that cliff, it's going to be too late for them to go, oh, shit, maybe I should have read that article, or I should have listened to that podcast, or maybe I should have asked a question. Okay? It's going to be too late by then. We're getting to a point, okay, on this planet where there is not a lot of time left to be on the fence about something, to not be sure about something, to just follow people blindly into chaos because you think you have to do that too. Okay? When we were younger, everybody was told, be a leader, not a follower. Okay? We have very little leaders. Very, very, very little leaders. And the majority of the leaders are being controlled by the higher-ups. Okay? And there's very few leaders that actually open their mouth and say things that they're not supposed to say. Okay? There's very few leaders that actually have a mind of their own and have the balls to talk about it. So we have to do it ourselves. We have to think for ourselves. We need to do research for ourselves. We need to come together as a people for ourselves, because none of this is for the good of any people, okay? It's not good for black people. It's not good for white people. It's not good for Hispanic people. It's not good for mixed people. It's not good for no one. Okay? This is not good. Period. Period. I also want to touch on a lot of the things I've read that's being said, how all white people were born privileged, how, we've always had more opportunity than the next person. I could only speak from my own self, my own life, things that happened to me. Now, I'm Sicilian, okay? And if we go back and we do our research about Sicily, you would know that Hannibal took over Sicily for many, many years. Hannibal was a general, an African general who controlled a lot of Europe at a certain point, and there was a lot of intermixing between the Sicilian people, the Mediterranean people, and the African people. So Sicilian history is really, really complex as far as what we consider ourselves to be and what the world sees us as. Being that Sicily is a total separate island of its own off of Italy, okay, and is surrounded by Greece, Africa. You know what I mean? We're in the Mediterranean with the rest of the Mediterranean area. So it's like, it's a very complex history, and it's more a personal decision on how you see yourself being Sicilian. You either see yourself as Italian, white, okay, or you see yourself as what we really are, okay? And we are island people. We are mixed. We have all sorts of interracial blood in our veins. And most races today in this day and age do. Because, I mean, there really isn't anything that's a pure bloodline except for the higher ups, that do all that genetic stuff and, the interbreeding and everything so that they can keep the bloodlines pure. But, I mean, Sicilian people can't deny their African roots, okay? I mean, you could literally take a boat from Africa right to Sicily. It's like 3 or 4 hours. I mean, it's not another world we're talking about. We're talking about a 3 or 4 hour boat ride, okay? So when I see stuff or I hear stuff that says that we were, white people, okay? Now, white people just means the color of your skin. You could be the palest person and not be white, okay? So that's what I have a problem with, okay? When you base your opinion on the color of someone's skin without even knowing their background, okay? That bothers me. That seriously bothers me inside. Because I grew up in the ghetto. I grew up with everyone. I grew up with every nationality you can possibly think of. Okay? We all hung out together. We all went out together. We all ate together. Okay? We all suffered together. We all had the same shit that we had to go through. I was actually denied student loans because I wasn't black or Hispanic according to the color of my skin. And I had financial aid officers tell me back in the day that if I had a black or Hispanic last name, that I'd be able to get all this funding. But because I don't, well, then screw me and my education. So you want to talk about privilege? You want to talk about not having the same opportunities? Well, in my case, I'm right along with you as far as not having the opportunities, okay? Not having the privileges of other people. And it bothers me so much to be put in that category because of the color of my skin, okay? We got Africans that are whiter than I am. We've got white people that are blacker than some black people. Does that categorize them in a certain group? The color of your skin means absolutely nothing in this day and age, okay? You could have the whitest African and the blackest white person, and if you're racist, you're going to see that before you see anything else. You're going to see that first. And I don't. I've never judged somebody from the color of their skin, or put them in a stereotype, or put them in a category because of it. Okay? And I also, from my own experience, when I was a teenager, I had a black man tell me that it's because of your people. We were having a discussion and it came up, of course. And it was like, because of your people, you know, we don't have this or we don't have that. And I said, whoa, 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 whoa. Do not put me in a category with other people, okay? Because you have no idea what my background is. I'm not standing here going because of you people and putting you in a category and stereotyping you because of the color of your skin. You're doing it to me. And when I told him that my family didn't come here until the 1920s, we had nothing to do with slavery in this country. We weren't even here, okay? The first members of my family didn't even come over until the 1920s. So I have absolutely no background, no family background that ever owned another person. Ever. So when I hear stuff like, oh, well, you know, you have to apologize for slavery and you have to apologize for, you know, the 400 years. Listen, my heart goes out to all people, okay, that ever had to endure that type of life, okay? And in all actuality, being not rich, we're kind of like slaves walking around. We just don't know it, okay? We were all slaves for months, stuck in the house and being told what to do, okay? Slavery isn't a color issue. Slavery means a lot more than you're white and you're black, okay? It means controlling another human being. And you're trying to tell me that this world doesn't try to control us? Give me a damn break, okay? We're all fucking slaves. I don't give a shit what anybody says. If you could get us to stay in the house for 5 fucking months, yeah, we're slaves, all right, okay? So the point is that this is not a color issue. And unfortunately, they're trying to divide us and bring us back 100 and God knows what years, when we should all be standing unified together saying, no, we are not going to do this. We are not going back. We are going forward. We are America, all of us. And by this division, it's only hurting us more than being unified. Okay? And yeah, like they say, racism isn't something we're born with. It's something we're taught. Okay? As they say. I was never taught that in my household. I was raised around everyone. I never even seen people's skin color. I was just people's friends. They were my friends. They still are. Okay? And having to be on this, you're either on this side or you're on this side. Okay? No, you don't have to be on any side. That's your choice. Okay? Yeah, you want, if you're African American, you want to be on, the Black Lives Matter bandwagon because you think you're supposed to be there. This is, because you gotta unify with your people. And white people are on the White Lives Matter and All Lives Matter. And then there's black people who say all lives matter too, and then they're shit on because they're telling the truth. All lives matter. All living, breathing entities on this planet matter. Okay? Animals matter. Plants matter. Okay? Because without trees, there wouldn't be oxygen. Okay? And look what they've done to half the trees that we barely have any freaking trees. Okay? I mean, take that as an example. We need trees to breathe. And they cut them down like it's, I don't know. Like the wind blows. Like it means absolutely nothing. We've been so desensitized where most people don't even give a shit that there barely any rainforest left, that there's barely any forest left, period, that one day we could just not have trees and not be able to breathe on this damn planet. But nobody thinks about that, you see? That's not a black or a white issue. That's a human being issue. Okay? We all need oxygen. We all need food. We all need to sleep. Okay? So, in my eyes, this division is planned. This whole division thing was planned. And it's being done by the higher ups to control the masses. Okay? To control us. To segregate us, to make us feel like we're different, to make us not like each other, to bring up things that happened 400 years ago. I sympathize with all of that. When Italians first came to this country, we were treated as the lowest of the low, okay? The bottom of the barrel. Which is why the mafia began here in this country as their own law, okay? As their own set of rules, because of the segregation, because of how we were treated, okay? And you can look that up. You go back and you can Google that, okay? But that's fact. That's not just my opinion. And also the fact that I want to bring up is that is very important are the African people who were gathering these other African people, okay? Taking children away from mothers, promising them that they were going to get work, okay? And be able to take care of their families. And all the stories that they were told to get these people to come with them, okay? Fellow black people. Gathering up hundreds and hundreds and thousands of their own people, bringing them to the shores, okay, to be picked up by slave ships, and then being paid however they wanted to be paid, to give up their own people into slavery, okay? Why do we never talk about that? Why? It's a fact, okay? And we do not address it. Is it too painful for us to address? It's a deep-rooted fact, okay? Because these people would not have trusted a Spaniard or trusted, I don't know, a French person or whoever was in that country during that time. That was not their people. They would not have left willingly. Some of them weren't left willingly. Some of them were put in chains right then and there and dragged the fuck away by their own people. Okay? Because that's who they trusted. They wouldn't have trusted the white man. Oh yeah, I'll give you a job. Yeah, okay. They wouldn't have trusted that. So they had to get their own, there had to be a system where a group of their own people were gathering them up, making them walk hundreds of miles with no water and no food, okay? Half of them dying on the way to the shore to get on these slave ships. To be sent to wherever, okay? South America, the Caribbean, U.S., everywhere. And we never discuss that. To me, that is the biggest violation, okay? If we want to go back in time to just slavery in general, people, let's really go back, okay? Let's go back and realize, okay, that people were selling their own people. And they weren't all black. Okay? For some reason, people think that slavery was only done to black African American. I mean, African at that time. But it really wasn't. Slavery was about power. Okay? If you were poor and you had shit, then they could make you a slave. It didn't really matter what the color of your skin was, okay? Because you were shit. If you weren't rich and you weren't royalty, you were a fucking slave. Okay? How many white countries had nobility where all of their fucking slaves were white? Okay? Slavery is, to me, not a color issue. It's an issue, period. Slavery has not gone away. It has just been put under cover. Okay? We got sex slavery. We got pedophile slavery. We got people who are still being treated as slaves in other countries. Okay? And being bought and sold. Humans being bought and sold, regardless of the color of their skin. Okay? Slavery is an issue that we all have to address. It is not a color issue. Yes, that may be my opinion to you, but I'm telling you fact. Okay? Fact that you could go and look up, educate yourself, because they will not educate you in this department. Okay? You are not going to be taught this shit in school. Okay? We are fed lies from the time that we go to kindergarten to the time that we graduate college. Okay? Unless we do our own research, unless we wake up and say, I want to know what really happened. Like I said, sheep being led to slaughter. Okay? You have to ask questions. You have to educate yourselves. If you have a cell phone, you can educate yourself. I don't care who you are. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what state you live in, what country you live in. If you got a cell phone, you can educate yourself. Take advantage of that while we still can. By educating ourselves and knowing the facts. Not just going by, okay, all these people are going left, so I'm just going to go left with them because, I don't want to be standing here by myself. No. That's not a reason to do things. That's not an excuse for grown people to act a fool. Okay? For grown people to jump on an oil tanker and start beating the fuck out of it and trying to get the driver out of there. Did they not realize that they could have all went up in flames? Like, that's just an example of the stupidity that's going on. You had people on the highways smashing innocent people's car windows, dragging them out of their cars, beating the fuck out of them. Okay? For what? How the hell is that going to help solve anything? Violence doesn't solve violence. Okay? It doesn't. It just leads to what? More violence. So the things that have been going on these last few months have just been so disturbing and so what I was expecting at the same time, because of all the knowledge that I've gained, because I wanted to gain it, because I wanted to know the truth. Okay? all the books I've read, all the different religions I've studied with, all the different peoples of the world that I've befriended and have befriended me, have given me knowledge, and I've given them knowledge, and we share knowledge, and we built ourselves up where we don't believe anything unless we go back and do the research on it. And even then, you got to be a little iffy because, they could write whatever they want and erase whatever they want, just like they did with the Bible, okay? We don't know what books were taken out. We don't know what information was deleted. We don't know what was put in there on purpose. We don't know nothing, okay? So it's like everything is questionable. But you could get the basic fundamentals of what actually occurred if you desire that knowledge. And as people say, knowledge is power, and it is 100% true. Knowledge is more dangerous, okay, than a gun in your hand. It is more dangerous than standing outside and rioting. They do not want you to have knowledge. They don't want anyone to have knowledge. They want control over people as if people were rats in a laboratory. We are being experimented on at this very moment. Let's see what they do in this situation. Let's see what they do in that situation. And people are just going with it as if, like, they have no common sense. People, this is common sense, okay? This is not a racial or a color issue. It's common sense. Unfortunately, animals are forced, okay, into slaughter. They can't decide, you know what, I'm going to turn around because this doesn't feel right. How many times have cows jumped over 6-foot fences to get away from slaughter? I bet you didn't know that. I didn't know friggin' cows could jump. But that's what I mean by educating yourself. Animals know when they're about to be slaughtered. They do everything in their power to stop that from happening. And it's a sin that they can't make up their own minds. Like we can. Even though we really can't. But like I said, knowledge is power. So if you educate yourself, okay, on not just one subject, but all subjects. Educate yourself on all religions. Educate yourself on all walks of life, on all countries, okay? On all history, ancient and modern. You will see a pattern that happens every few years, every 100 years, every 500 years. There's a pattern. Okay, as they say, history repeats itself. There's a pattern because there are people who have their agenda that have always had the same agenda. And in every friggin' lifetime, that agenda has been tried to be forced upon people who were not educated, who would just follow the crowd and do what everybody else was doing. This is not a new concept, people. And I just cannot stand that it has gotten to the point where we have segregation going on again. We have people hating each other again because of what? Okay? Why can't we all see what's happening right in front of us. That we are literally being led by a bunch of fucking people who hate us all. Regardless of religion, race, color, nationality, they hate us all because we are not them. Okay? These issues have been around since the beginning of time. And if people do not wake up and educate themselves, it will continue until the end. Okay? Which I feel is very close. So please make the most of the little bit of time that we may have left. And get that hate out of yourself. Okay? That hate is poison in your veins. It's worse than a virus. It's worse. It's a death sentence. Hate is way worse on your mind and body. Okay? There's the only cure for hate is to educate yourself and to learn how to let it go. Okay? And until we as a people, and I mean everybody, realize that there is no difference between me and you, okay? And the color of a person's skin does not make them black or white. It doesn't make them a certain nationality, because the color of someone's skin means absolutely nothing. It's complete and utter bullshit. It's like a joke, really, because it's a facade. You could think somebody is white and they're not. You could think somebody is black and they're not. Skin color means shit. So seriously, wake up, people. Stop judging people by the color of their skin. You don't want to be stereotyped. You don't want to be put in a category. Then don't let them put you in a category. Do not let them lead you to being that stereotype. The looting, the rioting, that's a stereotype. All of y'all that did that went right into their trap. Became what you don't want to be called. This is what I need everybody to understand. You literally walked into a trap that was set up to show ignorance. And everybody watched as it happened, and nobody stopped and said. There was very, very few people I seen that made videos that actually came to the realization that they were being led into this situation and it wasn't right. Very, very few people realized it and stopped and said, I'm not taking this. I'm not robbing Target. Okay? I'm not robbing Walmart, because that's exactly what they want you to do. Because what they're going to do is they're going to turn that around on all of y'all at some point. Okay? They're going to turn that around on you and make you that stereotype. And then everybody's going to be like, holy shit. We did all of that. We were being controlled. Did all of that, and for what? Ruining your own neighborhoods, ruining your own supermarkets, ruining people's life's work, You are being controlled. Okay? That's slavery. Mental slavery. Please, people, do me a favor. Educate yourselves while we have the time. Sit down with your families and look at this for what it is. Do not let anyone lead you astray from your beliefs, from what you feel is right. Nobody has the authority to do that. We all can think for ourselves. You sit down with your family and you talk. And you make your own decisions for what's best for you and your family. How you and your family feel, how you were raised, what was instilled in you as a child, and if it was hate, I'm sorry. Because that was just mind control. That just sets you up for failure for the rest of your life. Because you cannot live hating people, okay? You can't live a happy life hating anyone for any reason. You have to let it go. We have all been fucked over at some point in our lives. We've all been hurt. We've all had stuff taken away from us. We've all lost things. We all feel pain and loss. And we need to come together, and we need to take that pain, and we need to take that loss, and we need to fight back. Not against each other, but against the powers that be. We have to take all that anger and all that hate and direct it in the right direction, or we are all fucked. Okay? Everybody's fucked. Not just white people, not just black people, not just Hispanic people, not people from Mars, okay? We're all fucked if we do not take all of this energy that we're putting into separating ourselves from each other. We need to put energy into uniting, becoming one, and fighting the real culprit here. Or else we are not going to make it. Okay? This planet's not going to make it. Until people wake up and realize that fighting each other is not the answer. We have to fight the powers that be. We have to fight the powers that are putting us under brainwash and slavery every day of our fucking lives. That we get up and go to work and come home, the same shit every day, is a form of slavery. Okay? We are being held back. We are being lied to on a daily basis. We are being shown fake news. We're being brainwashed on a daily basis. And it's time for it to stop. And the only way that we are ever going to get it to stop is by unifying and taking that anger, okay? And that pain and that suffering and that loss and directing it to the right area. I hope all you guys that are listening understand where I'm coming from. Educate yourselves. Be a leader, not a follower. Do not follow other people. Have your own mind, your own opinion, your own feelings. Don't wait for somebody to tell you how to feel. Don't wait for somebody